Okay guys, what's up? This is going to be my first video in my Kings Talk playlist, let's say, here on YouTube. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, and I just think this is the right time. Kings Draft 2022 is upon us. It is tomorrow, Thursday. I think it's at 5 p.m. I am very, very, very excited. This is a big moment for the Kings franchise. Been a fan since I've been years old. I don't even know, probably like 6 maybe. It's been literally since the very beginning, and since I could remember. And now that I have a YouTube channel, I really just want to add this in because this is a passion of mine. And I really think this would be great because I can talk about the Kings for hours, different players, prospects, who I think is the best talent in the draft. And it just goes on throughout the whole season. I play fantasy basketball. So I've been doing this for years. Started playing fantasy basketball when I was in 8th grade, I think, to my estimation. And so I've been really into basketball and really ingratiated in this. So this is something that I love, and I can't wait to do this. But in this video, in this very first video, I am going to be talking about who I think the Kings are realistically going to be taking in this draft. So obviously we have Chet Holmgren, who I think he is the most likely to be dropping out of the top 3 because we hold the 4th pick right now. And the reason why I think he's going to be dropping out of the top 3 was because this morning his physicals were not released to the Magic or the Thunder, who are the top 2 picks in the draft. I really think that out of Jabari Smith, Paolo Banchero, I might add, and Chet, those big 3, Chet will be the most likely to fall due to the fact that everyone's really saying that Jabari is going to go number 1 or Banchero might go number 1 as well. But I really think one of the dominoes will fall out of those 3. And I think Jaden Ivey actually might slip into that 2 spot and really throw a wrench into things, and then it could be Jabari Smith and Jaden Ivey, or Banchero, Jaden Ivey, or something like that. You know what I mean? And so I really don't think the draft will go according to plan. And how everyone's been doing the mock drafts, I really think there's going to be something quite odd, and it will be different than all the mock draft 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, all the way up until the last second. And it'll be really interesting because I think Chet is going to fall to the Kings. I really think this. He definitely is a high-level prospect. He really reminds me of Bol Bol. When you look at like the player profile, he's the only one that I can really compare the two. Bol Bol and Chet, maybe Kevin Durant, but that's a stretch. So the really only player comparison is Bol Bol, and Bol Bol has been injured, and I still think Bol Bol is a transcendent generational talent. Still think the Kings should have traded for him, even though he's hurt and he's on the Magic, I think, right now. But I really think that Chet will be the one to fall. We also have, and these are just the picks that I think that could go to the Kings. I'm not like going 1 through 4 or whatever. So Keegan Murray, I would not draft him with the 4th pick at all. I would literally, definitely trade down maybe to the 6th pick and pick him maybe. But that's a big maybe for me. I know Keegan Murray is really good. I know he averaged like 23.6 points on Iowa. He's a really good player, and he's a small forward, power forward. He can really integrate perfectly into the 3 spot. I think Harrison Barnes is also going to get moved. I do not think he will be on the team post-draft. And he will insert perfectly. He does not have the star power, though. That is the one thing that is a knock for me, is that Keegan Murray just reminds me of just, the usual. He kind of reminds me of like Tobias Harris. They kind of like fall under the radar, can score, can do everything, but isn't really exciting. The Kings kind of need that, but I don't know. I just don't really feel like we should draft Keegan Murray with that 4 spot. A player that I really like, I've been ranting and raving about him, is Shaden Sharp. I think he is the most talented player in this draft. He reminds me of Paul George. He would insert perfectly into the two guard spot on the Kings. He's 19 years old. Didn't play on Kentucky. I think he was like a mid-year transfer or something like that. And Coach Calipari really raved about him. And he is definitely a sleeper in this draft for sure. He is by far my favorite player in this draft. Definitely the most talented by far, I think. It's either him or Chet. Chet, due to the fact that he's so long, lengthy, and it's really rare what Chet has. And so I think if I was the GM, I wouldn't take Shaden Sharp at 4. I would trade down to 6, draft Shaden Sharp, get an asset as well. And that would be my best case scenario, would be to basically trade down, get an asset, and draft Shaden Sharp, because you're kind of getting the most talented players in this draft, and he'll drop far because he's a sleeper and he didn't play in college. So I really think you could get like a 2-in-1. You could get a huge asset for our team, and you can draft Shaden Sharp. That would be best case scenario. Insert both of those players in the starting lineup. Don't know who that asset could be. It could be a Jeremy Grant, could be, I don't know, a John Collins if we get him in a trade. Could be anything like that, but that would be my best case scenario, or Chet falling to 4. Another player, okay, well, obviously Jabari Smith. I don't think he's going to drop to us. He's either going to go to the Magic or go to the Thunder or go to the Rockets. Any of the teams above us, I think he'll go to them. He won't be dropping to us as well. Paolo Banchero as well. I do not think that he would be dropping to us. I really, really, really wanted the Kings to move up in this draft. That is something I've been wanting them to do for a while now, and I really feel like it should be the thing that they do, but they're not going to do it because there is a lot of unknowns. To be honest, any of those top players could end up being busts. You never know. You know what I mean? There's been a lot of great players in college that really don't turn out. Yeah, I really do not think Paolo will drop out of the top 3. And what if Paolo or Jabari falls? I would definitely take Paolo in the 4th spot. So it's kind of a toss-up. I think it'll be like a very draft up until the selection is made. We won't know who is on the Kings until that selection. So it will be a toss-up. If there is any domino that could fall, it's definitely Chet coming to us. Oh yeah, another player that I forgot to talk about is Jaden Ivey. Everyone is talking about how he reminds everyone of Ja Morant and the comparisons. I really think he's a mix between Ja Morant and Tyrese Maxey. I don't know. I haven't really watched a whole lot of film on Jaden Ivey. I know he gets into the paint. He always wants to dunk it on everyone. And he's a very explosive, very dominant, asserts his will kind of player, kind of like Ja. But I do think he'll be a good shooter. That's the thing. I do think he'll be a good shooter, but not straight out of college, which gives the unknowns as well. And he's very relaxed on defense. He kind of just like throws his hand in there, kind of like puts his foot in, doesn't really do a whole lot if he doesn't really care. So that is definitely a problem, but you can definitely change that. So there is a lot of unknowns there. obviously the most unknown player in the draft is Shaden Sharp. I think the most talent is there in Shaden Sharp. At 4, I would not take a Jaden Ivey. If Chet, obviously, if it goes how it's supposed to go, Jabari Smith, Chet, and Paolo Banchero, then at 4, we would probably have to take Jaden Ivey and just see how he fits in with De'Aaron. That's the only way. And unless we pick Shaden Sharp with the 4th pick and something, because we're not going to draft Dyson Daniels, Benedict Mathurin. We're not going to do any of that. So I'm highly unlikely we do that. So, and I do not want us trading out into number 11 or number 10 or something like that. That would be, I can't. That would be annoying. So I am really excited. If we do draft Jaden Ivey, that would be cool. A very explosive guard. He could be a superstar in this league. And a lot of those players that I talked about could be superstars as well. It would be amazing if we got Chet. That would be super cool. It was very interesting that he didn't give his medical records to the Thunder and I think the Magic this morning, but we'll have to see what happens. Draft day is tomorrow. I am very excited. This video is going up today. This is my first video in the Kings Talk playlist on my channel. It's something I've really wanted to do, and yeah, I'm very excited, and we will see what happens. See you guys.